Hello, everybody. Welcome to Flickstock. It's Nia, and let's talk about sequels, shall we? Some movies, I think it's okay to have sequels to some movies, and some movies, I think the sequels ruin the originals. But you know, can't always. Us viewers can't always win that fight. It's the movie studios who think, hey, we know best. But sometimes their knowing best doesn't always turn out right. So, sequels. What is your favorite sequel? I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know this right now that this is not a list of my favorite sequels. This is a list of sequels that I got off of alot.com, ALOT.com. So there's 30 best movie sequels of all time. What are they? Why don't you tell me? What's your favorite sequel? I'm waiting. Anyway, I will resume. Out of the 30 that's on this list, I have seen all but 4. And it's the first 3 I'm going to talk about and the number 1 that I have not seen. So I don't know very much about them. Filming with cats is always so much fun. Anyway, okay. So, sequels. I can go ahead and tell you there's a few sequels that are not on here. If you think some Rockies are on here, no. If you think any like Halloweens are on here, no. Do you agree with what's on this list? Do you not agree? But just remember, this is not my list. I got it off online, and it's the best movie sequels of all time. So, this was... But you know what, number 30, I thought would have been ranked higher, because I want to start with 30 and go to 1. And 30, I thought would be in the top 5 or 10, be in the top of the list, not the bottom of the list. So, like emoji. So, number 30 is a Francis Ford Coppola movie. I did not see the first one. I did not see the second one. I did not see the third one. I have not seen any of the Godfathers. So Godfather 2 is at number 30. I know in the first one there's Brando. He was in that one. He's not in the others. As I said, I haven't seen it, so I kind of know why he's not in the second. But there's a story on that one. But so they brought in De Niro for the second. The only reason why you don't see Brando as a cameo, which he was scheduled to be as a return as a cameo, but day of filming, he decided not to show up because he did not appreciate how he was treated on the first movie, on The Godfather. So that part was like rewritten without him. So yeah. So, Godfather 2 came out in 1974, 2 years after the original. So I hear that The Godfather 2, Part 2, is actually better than the first. I don't know. I have not seen it. For you men out there who, I hear The Godfathers are pretty much a man's movie, but I know some women have seen it. I have not. It is on my list to see. I just haven't watched them. So, anyway, 29 is a Pink Panther movie. A Shot in the Dark. Came out in 1964. I haven't seen any. Zero. I have not seen any Pink Panther movies. None. I know Peter Sellers is in them. And actually, A Shot in the Dark is said to be the best of all the Pink Panther movies, so I guess that's, you know, maybe I should start off with that one, but I'd rather start off with the first one. But, you know, that's, yeah. And then at 28 is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Came out in 2008. Hellboy came out in 2004. I actually started watching Hellboy, but I fell asleep in it, so it's not that I wasn't interested in it. It's just maybe I fall asleep in movies now. Very rarely do I actually stay awake for an entire film now at home. If I go to a theater, that's a different story. I'm awake. But anyway, Ron Perlman, Selma Blair is in them, so I'm a fan of Selma Blair's. So that's pretty much all I can really say about Hellboy. I haven't seen it. I know there's a comic book, I think, of it. A lot of movies have comic book versions, or inspired by a comic book, or sometimes there's a comic book made after the fact. 27. I've seen this one. It's movies, pretty much based off of a television show in the 60s. Short-lived series, but I don't think it's not ever been aired since it stopped airing originally. So 3 seasons, just kept on going for all these years. Space, the final frontier. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. Gotta love that one. Of course, you got the cast from the show to the motion picture, so, you know, there's Captain Kirk, and Spock, and Bones, Scotty, Sulu, Chekhov. So, Chekhov. And, I go scratching those again. That one just actually was itch. But anyway, so yeah, you got the characters from the show into the movies. Yeah, but the Wrath of Khan, y'all, man. Ricardo Montalban. He was pretty much known as, you know, for his role in Fantasy Island. But he did great as Khan. Even I own the Wrath of Khan. I don't own the first one, but I own the Wrath of Khan. That's the only Star Trek movie I own. Well, besides the newer ones, because I do kind of like the newer ones. But yeah, the Wrath of Khan, that was a good one. Most of these sequels have been out for years and years. So if I'm giving anything away, I'm sorry. Just oh well. And also I think Kirstie Alley's character in Wrath of Khan, she plays Spock's daughter. Is that right? Because when she was growing up, she watched the show and she loved Spock and she always fantasized of being Spock's daughter. So if that's true, if she plays Spock's daughter in the Wrath of Khan, because I have, it's been a while since I've seen it, but that means her dream actually did come true, which is kind of neat. Kirstie Alley, hey. Anyway, in 2012, 21 Jump Street came out, the movie, you know, based on the TV show. And then in 2014, 22 Jump Street came out. Same characters from the first. Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum. Pretty much just the same stuff as the 21 Jump Street movie. They had to go undercover in high school. In 22 Jump Street, they had to go undercover in college. Cop stuff, undercover. So, more stuff like that. Then 25 is X-Men 2, or X2, X-Men 2, The United. Came out in 2003. X-Men came out in 2000. The only really, if you know the X-Men, so you know the characters. If not, then it's, there's Wolverine and Storm and Mystique and Cyclops, Professor X, Magneto, on and on and on. So, Rogue. So, but there's a wheelchair that Patrick Stewart is in. He plays Professor X, and in the first movie, that wheelchair that he used in it was sold to the firm of Patrick Stewart's lawyer, whatever firm he worked for. They bought the chair. So when they made X2, the makers, the movie directors, and the producers, was like, where's the chair? They didn't know that they didn't have the chair. So the law firm, the owner of the chair at the law firm, rented the chair to the studio for the film, for the making of the movie, at a substantial fee. That's a little tidbit there for you. Like, really? Rented the chair, and they got paid quite well just to, hey. Here we go, guys. This one, Christopher, let's see here to make sure I'm doing this right. Nope. Looking at my notes here. 2002 Spider-Man came out. No, 2004 Spider-Man 2 came out. But Spider-Man came out in 2002. With Tobey Maguire. He is my favorite Spider-Man. Nothing against Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland does a great job. But it's just, Tobey, he's my Spider-Man. I'm sorry. But Spider-Man 2, I've watched that one more than any other Spider-Man. Is maybe because the fact that he pretty much reveals himself to Mary Jane. And it's like, oh. And she's like, oh. And he fights, Dr. Ock and it's just some of the, I don't know, it's just, to me it's better. I like it better than the original. Not that I didn't like the Green Goblin from the first, but Doc Ock is a little bit better, so I tend to watch that one more. But Sam Raimi, he's a big fan. He was a big fan of Spider-Man, and he wanted to do it, so that's why he's pretty much directed the first trilogy. But the woman who plays Aunt May, think about Aunt May in the first trilogy with Tobey Maguire. Rosemary Harris, I believe is her name. She did her own stunts. Yep, she did her own stunts. And some stunts, Tobey did. They did it with Tobey and the stuntman, and actually, Sam, he actually liked the stunt that was done better by Tobey than from the stunt guy, so. But the guy that played Doc Ock, he preferred to let the stuntmen do his stuff. That's why they're there. That's why they have a job. He didn't want to take anything away from the stuntmen, so. Oh my goodness. Rush Hour 2 came out in 2001. The first one came out in 1998. The first one takes place in LA. Rush Hour 2 takes place in Hong Kong. Here's a funny thing. Chris Tucker, by the locals, Chris Tucker was mistaken as Kobe Bryant. So they called him Kobe Bryant because they thought he was Kobe Bryant while filming in Hong Kong. They don't look anything alike. But okay, whatever. Anyway. But, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. So, there we go. 1984, James Cameron movie came out with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I think ended up pretty much turned James Cameron's career around, and I would think maybe, hopefully, I think, boosted Arnold Schwarzenegger's career. Had a famous line, "I'll be back." The Terminator. So in 1991, Terminator 2 Judgment Day came out. It comes with its own little line too, like the first one, "I'll be back." T2, "Hasta la vista, baby." You got Schwarzenegger now in the sequel as the good guy, as the good Terminator. The bad one is played by Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick. He played the T-1000. But Arnold, he played the bad guy, the bad Terminator in the first one. He is the good guy, the good Terminator in the second one. You actually feel for him in the second one. You don't want him to leave. You want him to stick around. You don't want him to give up and just... Of course, he is there to protect Sarah Connor and John Connor. So, from the T-1000. Yeah. So anyway, 2 animated movies are on this list, and these are the next 2. Toy Story 2 came out in 1999. First one came out in 1995. You got Tom Hanks and Tim Allen playing Buzz and Woody. I believe the second one introduces Jessie, voiced by Joan Cusack. So that one's actually probably one of the better. I like 4. Toy Story 4 is good as well. Me being a little bit on the weird side. I mean, I love Forky, but I really liked, oh my god, what's the doll's name? Brain fart. Anyway, the bad guy. I like the bad person, the villain in that one, actually. Anyway, Toy Story 2 is pretty much when Woody is stolen and Buzz and the friends, they have to just set out a rescue mission and go and rescue Woody. That's the premise of that movie. In Toy Story 4, Woody, did the ultimate sacrifice. If you ask me. Well, it's a good movie. I need those movies. I don't have them, but I need them. And then in 2001, Shrek came out. So, Shrek 2 came out in 2004. Y'all. This is when, Shrek and Fiona, they go to Fiona's parents. Look, Dad. Where he meets the parents. And they meet up with a feline voiced by Antonio Banderas. Puss in Boots. Love Puss in Boots. I don't know, Shrek 2 is one of my favorites, actually. I just love that one because of Puss in Boots. He's just so funny. I have not seen the 4th one. The 4th Shrek, I have not seen. But I've seen the first 3. But anyway, you know what? 19 is to me just a remake. I don't know why it's considered a sequel. I think of it as a remake. It's like just the same thing done over again. Another Sam Raimi movie. In 1981, Evil Dead came out. And then in 87, Evil Dead 2 came out. To me, Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead is the same movie. Maybe I just need to rewatch them again. But I'm one of those maybe select few who just not a fan of those movies. They're okay. All I know, in the first one is to me is funny. The girl becomes like a zombie, but she's sitting in Indian style on the floor, and as I think I mentioned in another video, she's just kind of laughing. That right there is irritating. The cool part is a zombie on the floor. Door on the floor. She's down there. That was kind of freaky looking. But as far as I remember, Evil Dead 2 just resembled Evil Dead so much. It was like a remake to me. But it's a sequel. So, I don't know. Whee! Oh, whatever. Bruce Campbell pretty much plays Ash. You know, I've seen all of them. I actually did finally see Army of Darkness, I believe. Not, well, a while back. But, you know. Anyway. At 18, okay, this one, I kind of disagree with this one. I'm not saying it's not good. It is a very good movie. Very good sequel. Because it's the third one. Not all these sequels are the part 2s. Some of them are actually the part 3s. And this is a part 3. I really love the part 2 of this one. But Steven Spielberg in 1981 put out Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then in 1989 there was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And that's the sequel that is right here on this list. It is good. You know, hey, it's got Sean Connery in it. And Harrison Ford, you know, obviously is Indiana Jones. And the cool thing about this movie is they kind of touch on the young Indiana Jones in the movie just a little bit, and that young Indy is played by River Phoenix. But other than that, I really do prefer Temple of Doom, which was, you know, obviously made in between 81 and 89. But to me, I just liked it. Some people do like it, some people don't like it. I don't know what the problem is with more people not liking Temple of Doom than not, but I like it. That's me. Alright, 17, it's Paul Newman and Tom Cruise, a Martin Scorsese film that came out in 1986, and it's the sequel to The Hustler, which came out in 1961, but The Color of Money. I have not seen The Hustler, but I love Paul Newman, or the young Paul Newman, so I really do need to see The Hustler. Because, you know, when he was younger, I literally drool over him. He's a good looking guy. So, to me, let's see, Hustler had Paul Newman as a young person versus, you know, Tom Cruise in The Color of Money. I guess Tom Cruise was learning how to play pool or be better pool player from Paul Newman in The Color of Money. And The Hustler, I think it was pretty much Paul Newman and Tom Cruise's kind of type character, and it was Jackie Gleason, you know, I guess teaching Paul Newman how to be the better pool player. Jackie Gleason would have appeared in The Color of Money, but once he read the script and what his character would be like, even though it'd be a little cameo part, he just didn't think his character fit in, so he decided to not participate. So that part had to be rewritten, and just him being taken out because he didn't want to do it. So they actually could have had both men from The Hustler in The Color of Money, but Jackie Gleason didn't like his character, how he was being worked in. Anyway, what else? Oh my goodness. Okay, so in 1968, George Romero did Night of the Living Dead. Well, its sequel is Dawn of the Dead. That came out in 1978. Which I believe that's one of the first films that Tom Savini did for makeup. I love Tom Savini. He does great makeup. But in this one, I just didn't like... I really got to rewatch this one. But I do know that the makeup is the main reason why I don't like the film, is because you got the blue face, like, you know, of the zombies, which I haven't seen any blue face zombies, but there could be out there. I don't know. I have never seen a zombie in real life yet. I'm not saying they don't exist. I just haven't seen one yet. And I don't think they have blue faces. Blue purple faces. And then the blood, with Tom Savini being in Vietnam and then coming back, he wanted his makeup to be realistic, but it's not too realistic in Dawn of the Dead. It was better in Day of the Dead, but Dawn of the Dead was too red, too bright red. Blood is not bright red. So that kind of, that's why I don't like that movie. I prefer the remake. The remake of Dawn of the Dead, which is more of an action film, and it came out in 2004. And it does take place in a mall, but their zombies are frightening. They're more realistic, and instead of slow-moving zombies, they run. And you better have your like sprint shoes on, because you better take off. Because if they come after you, you better, you gotta be speedrunner. So, I don't know which is it. Would zombies be slow or would they be fast? They're portrayed in both ways, so we don't know, because I've never seen them, and most people haven't seen zombies. Yeah. 2003, Quentin Tarantino came out with Kill Bill. So then in Kill Bill 2 came out in 2004. It's got Uma Thurman in it, John Carradine, Vivica A. Fox, other people. Even though it's written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. There's a fight in the first one that I like a lot, then versus the second one, which is between Uma Thurman and Lucy Liu. So, I think I like the first one better. But if you're familiar with Tarantino films, then you kind of know what type of film it is. He's a talented guy, great director, incredible writer, but some of his movies, they're not everybody's cup of tea. Let me just say that. So, anyway, I'm going to move on. Here's number 14, okay? I haven't seen any of these. I'm not a big major fan of these stupid slapstick comedy satire type movies. So, like, 1988, Naked Gun came out with a movie, and then Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear in 1991. I haven't seen it. I just know Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley is in it, among probably some other people I may know, but I don't know. I have not seen it. It's just those type movies don't really interest me. I really have to be in the mood. I did see Vampires Suck, and that was funny, because they made fun of Twilight movies. Sorry, and some other movies, but that was the main one. That one was funny. But this one, it was just, I don't know. I didn't see it, so I hear it's funny. Not me. Not my type of film. So, Peter Jackson, on his Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Return of the King came out in 2003. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring came out in 2001. Return of the King was almost like at least the Oscars. That show was almost like watching the Titanic winning almost every Oscar. Return of the King won almost every Oscar that it was nominated for. It won 11 Oscars, including Best Director, Best Picture, Adapted Screenplay, editing, and art direction, and costume design, and 11 Oscars. Didn't win for any acting, but pretty much everything else it did. So, obviously, Lord of the Rings, based on a book. Can anyone tell me what book that is from? Tolkien, I believe. I shared a video with my sister. I don't think she saw it, but I watched this, Hollywood graveyard on YouTube, and this is the guy. He actually visited Token's grave. So I said, "Hey, watch this. Just even the first 10 minutes. Trust me," because a whole bunch of other people she would have liked. I don't know if she ever did. But anyway, so at 12, it's Matt Damon. First, with the Bourne Identity that came out in 2002, but the Bourne Supremacy came out in 2004. That's a good movie. It's he's a trained assassin is pretty much what he is, and they're trying to stop him. He's trying to figure out who he is, right? So Bourne Supremacy, we got Matt Damon and Joan Allen and Brian Cox. He's always above, Joan Allen. He's one step ahead. He may be watching her and she doesn't know it, and then he kind of gives off that he's watching her, and she turns around and looks out the window, and he's out there somewhere. Good action film. So, Bourne Supremacy. There's more to that. There's Bourne Ultimatum after that. There's Jason Bourne with Matt, but then between the Ultimatum and Jason Bourne, there was Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner, which that was a good film too. I mean, I thought I wouldn't like it because no Matt Damon, but this one, it held its own, so it was good. But when I think of Jason Bourne, I think of Matt Damon. He did such a great job as playing the character. Whew. Breathe. Okay, hey, Marvel. We have to hit on a Marvel character, right? Wait, we already did, didn't we? Anyway, X-Men. Captain America. At least the first one came out in 2011. But the one I'm talking about is the Winter Soldier. 2014 is when it came out. And there was other Captain America's, Civil War. I think it was mainly just 3, and then all of a sudden there was the Avengers. But Chris Evans, Samuel L. Jackson, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Redford is in this one. But the Winter Soldier is actually played by his old friend from the first one, aka from the 40s. His friend from the 40s, when they're signing up to go into the military. His friend Bucky, he is the Winter Soldier. So he is fighting his old buddy in that film. But it's superhero film, so action-packed. So, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, there we go. At number 11. So here's number 10. Jeremy Renner stars in this one. It's 28 weeks later. Came out in 2007. 28 Days Later came out in 2002. Both take place in Great Britain. And in this one, they're just outside of London, and they are just trying to contain, the virus or whatever, because it's zombies. So, zombie outbreak, so they're just trying to contain it. That's pretty much what they're doing. So, it's not a bad film. Watch 28 Days first, and 28 Days Later first, and then I'll watch 28 Weeks. Like, okay. Number 9. Written by J.K. Rowling, directed by Chris Columbus, coming out in 2002, is a sequel to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. More Harry Potter. Just more Harry Potter. More spells. I think I like the second one better than the first. I think the beginning of it, they're like dealing with plants, and the plants are like alive or whatever, and that's kind of cute. But anyway, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Here we go, y'all. 1978, Superman came out, directed by Richard Donner. So, in 1980, also directed by Richard Donner, but not directed by Richard Donner, also directed by Richard Lester, is Superman 2. two directors on that one, but in order for Lester to get full credit as director, he had to do some more reshoots and stuff. So, what you need to do, which I need to do, is pay close attention, because there's some people who did not come back, because they pretty much were filming Superman and Superman 2 back to back. Richard Donner was doing it back to back. So, a lot of Superman 2 was already filmed when he was fired. I think the studio just fired him, replaced him with Richard Lester. So, but Gene Hackman did not come back to do the reshoots and do the whatever. So, there are lookalikes. There's a lookalike for Gene Hackman and a voice impersonator for Gene Hackman in those scenes. John Williams, who did the music, or was doing the music, did not come back either. So, but he gave permission for Lester or them to use the music, whatever, from Superman. And he also recommended a buddy of his, another music guy, that they could use. So, them actually getting rid of Richard Donner really hurt, I think, the film. But years ago, not too long ago, but there is a Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, and I own it. And because I think Margot Kidder pretty much said in an interview that Richard Donner filmed enough film that he could have put his own cut together. And then once people heard that, fans heard that, they petitioned for a Richard Donner cut to be made. Hence, there is a Richard Donner cut now out. I have it. So there is differences, but it's also very similar in the movies. So you watch the Lester cut, and then you can watch the Donner cut. You'll see some differences, but it's just minimal. So, it still has Christopher Reeve in it, and he considered that the best Superman movie of the four. So, and I think Brando was supposed to come back too for part 2 in that one, but they cut him out, or he refused to come back because Lester took over. Something like that. Either way, he didn't come back. So there's no Brando cameo in Superman 2. This one I'm not going to say much about. Obviously, 1977, Star Wars came out, A New Hope. And in 1980, 3 years later, it's always 3 years, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back comes out. This one is the one I like. I like Empire Strikes Back better than A New Hope, better than Return of the Jedi. I like Empire Strikes Back. Why? Well, it's got my favorite character in it, and you see him for the first time. At least in the trilogy. In this first trilogy, that's the first movie you see Yoda in. The first trilogy, you see him in all the movies. In the second trilogy... Wait, he's not in the second trilogy. Or the third trilogy. Because he did. Okay. So, the episodes 1 through 6, he's in 5 of them. Don't know why he was in A New Hope. Just skip that one. Anyway, number 6, Back to the Future 2. Came out in 1989. Back to the Future came out in 1985. It was written and directed, definitely directed by Robert Zemeckis. I believe it was Zemeckis. But people say the Back to the Future script is the best script ever written. It's just perfect in everything. So what I need to do is get the script and figure out why is it considered the best perfect script ever. And there's a clause too. You'll never see a Back to the Future remake as long as the writer and Zemeckis are still alive. They cannot make a Back to the Future remake. The little clause like in a contract or whatever. So, yay. 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 No remake. Yoo-hoo! For now. As long as they're alive. Maybe they'll extend it forever. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of funny. The Nike shoes. Years later, Nike actually made those shoes that's featured in Back to the Future 2 and gave a pair to Michael J. Fox. And I think the hoverboard actually did become reality, but it didn't really work too well. I mean, there are real ones out there, but they cost so much money. Also, just to let y'all know, pay close attention. Crispin Glover did not return to play Marty's dad. There was a lookalike and a voice impersonator who was in as the role. That's why you don't really see the dad too much in the film. But Crispin Glover did file a lawsuit against the studio and the movie about putting him, it wasn't really him, it's just a lookalike, but using his character, him. I don't really know what come of it. I don't know if he won or not, but obviously I don't think anything positive went his way, but I don't know. I just know that he did take legal action because, they used a lookalike so people would think it was actually him, even though it was not him. So, anyway. A young Elijah Wood is in the film as well. When Marty is in that little diner, he is over there with another boy playing, I think, a video game. He's one of the boys. And I would love, even though I know it's a prop, and it'll probably be just a prop of empty pages, but I would love to have the almanac. I would like to look at it and actually see, hey, what's, the future. Anyway, never know. Top 5, ready? Another Richard Donner film. First one came out in 1987, and this one, Lethal Weapon 2, in 1989. There will be a Lethal Weapon 5, and Mel Gibson is said to direct it. So, speaking of sequels, there we go. Ta-da! Sequels. Other than that, it's a cop film, and the best part, at least the part I love, is when Danny Glover is stuck on the toilet. He's stuck on the toilet, and Mel Gibson has to go save him, and it's just so funny. It is just so funny. That one is just so funny. Yeah, number 4, 2005, Batman Begins came out, directed by Christopher Nolan. He comes back again, doing The Dark Knight in 2008. Christian Bale, Heath Ledger. Best part of that one, I mean, Dark Knight is an incredible film. Heath Ledger did a great job as playing the Joker. And anyone who watched that Oscars saw that he won the Oscar for Heath Ledger for best supporting as the Joker, and his family came up since he died like a few months before the Oscars were even, or in January of 2008 or 2009 is when the Oscars came out, when I think it was nominated. So it was like a year after. His family came up and accepted the award. And then, of course, that award will go to his daughter, who's, definitely late teenager. So she's, because that was, I don't know how old she is, but I would definitely say she's in her late teens by now. His daughter would be in her late teens by now. So, But I don't know what it is. I know, I think I read that he did talk to Jack Nicholson about playing the Joker, and Jack said something. He kind of warned him that, that character can get into your head. And Heath Ledger, he just engulfed that character. He did a very good job. And he earned the Oscar, fair and square if you ask me. He just, whoa. Alright, y'all. 3 more. James Cameron directed this one in 1986. It's called Aliens. Ridley Scott did Alien in 1979. But it is something about aliens. It's one of those sequels that are actually better than the original. Even though the original is really good. But the sequel just kind of goes up and beyond. It's got a big cast. Not want to name everybody. But Ellen Ripley, yes. I think they're supposed to do like another Alien with her in it. So if they do, let's hurry up. Let's get her on there. I want to see Ellen Ripley one more time. So let's do it. But Aliens takes place 57 years after the end of the first one. So, wow. Not a day did she age, did she? From the first one to from Alien to Aliens. She looks the same. Wow. So, number 2, I've always heard this is the best one out of the series. The Road Warrior. George Miller. It came out in 1981. Mad Max came out in 79. It's an Australian film. It's very good. I own Mad Max and The Road Warrior. Some of them say Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, but I'm not going to do Mad Max 2. It's The Road Warrior. Let's show some respect to that title right there. It's The Road Warrior. So, Mel Gibson, still in his early days doing his Australian movies, so he doesn't have very many lines, but they're both good. I also own, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I guess I should get Fury Road. Get the Oscar-winning Mad Max that took the Oscars a few years ago. I was like, good grief! The movie was good, but I didn't know it was this good. It kept winning Oscar after Oscar after Oscar after Oscar after Oscar. So I don't know how many Oscars it won, but everybody's like, dang, I didn't know. Whoa, didn't know it was that good. They must have known something, more than me. I saw the film, but I didn't think it was that good. Why is it winning like 10 million Oscars? All right, that was at 2, Road Warrior. Now this number 1. I have never seen. I haven't seen the original. I haven't seen this one. I haven't seen the third one. I know them by name, but I've never seen them. My parents have seen them. I have not seen them. Here's number 1, y'all. The number 1 best movie sequel of all time. You will never guess what it is. Go ahead. Guess. Guess what it is. Throw out some names. Let me hear it. I'll give you a hint. 60s, Clint Eastwood, Western. There's 3. Now, how many of those can you... 1964, Fistful of Dollars came out, but I'm talking about what came out in 1965. For a Few Dollars More. That is said to be the best movie sequel of all time. That is what movie... It's so weird because I didn't know these were actually connected because Clint Eastwood is in all 3 of these, but he has 3 different character names. But that's for legality issues. Go on IMDb to read about that. I'll be like, oh, Lord. Anyway. So, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly is the 3rd out of this trilogy. But For a Few Dollars More is said to be the best out of all of them. Well, Depends who you read. Some say it's better than The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, which on IMDb it has the higher rating than a few dollars more. The director, I don't know who the director's name is. He did some things for the first, I think ever done on movie sets or film for movie, maybe. Well, he did a few things he wasn't supposed to have done, and he kind of got away with it because he didn't speak English, so he didn't know. So he got away with it. Like, you couldn't shoot the main actor and like another actor in the same shot that who's about to be killed or something. It's all like technical stuff. And he wasn't supposed to film like a horse being gunned down, which then he did. And then there's like a rape scene. He didn't know he wasn't supposed to film that. There's something else that he wasn't supposed to film and that he did, and he got away with it because he didn't speak English. So, yeah, that's the 30 best movie sequels of all time. Yeah. Now, there's one bonus one I want to talk about really quick, even though this video is going way longer than I expected. Talking about 30 movies, trying to go as quick as you can. Of course, it's going to be longer than most. But really quick, there's a sequel coming out this year, 36 years after the first. The first one, Tony Scott directed in 1986, Top Gun. Movie that's going to be out this May. Now, it was set to be put out 2 years ago, but COVID happened, and they took it out of the theater, so they pushed it back, and then they pushed it back again to this May, and I think it's probably definitely going to be a go this time. But it's Maverick, the Top Gun 2. Well, it's pretty much going to be Top Gun 2, but it's Maverick. It's the sequel to Top Gun. It does have Tom Cruise in it, and maybe a few other cameos of some other people that were in the original may show up in this one. I don't know. They're keeping a very hush-hush, tight-lipped on that part. But, of course, if you watch Top Gun, Pete Mitchell, he wanted to teach at Top Gun, so he's obviously an instructor. So I'm quite sure it has to deal with these new hot shots coming in. Just like him, I'm quite sure he saw more of his types through the years, let's say. But, there's one thing that I do have to respect Tom Cruise for, is, because they've always wanted to make a Top Gun 2, but, what Tom Cruise wanted was actual flying that was actually used for Top Gun. He wanted actual flying for the sequel. And then, of course, studios just, CGI it. He said no, he did not want any CGI. Or CGI used maybe about this much versus this much. So that's one thing that I kind of respect him for, that he wants the realism of it versus, okay, yeah, this is definitely like CGI. And they may have mixed it. There could be some real flying and some CGI in this one. I don't know. Tom Cruise may have had to compromise. I don't know. But I know at the beginning, when they wanted Top Gun 2 come out, and the studio wanted just use whatever footage that wasn't used in the first one, Tom Cruise said, listen, there's not any. They used all the footage. I mean, even if there are any footage that wasn't used, it's not even enough to cover a scene. So there wasn't enough footage to make a sequel of the flying. So now, hopefully, I think all the flying that we see in Maverick is just like from Top Gun. It's real. It's not CGI. But we will just have to see. It does look good. I am actually looking forward to it. I used to be a big Tom Cruise fan. I'm not anymore, but I do respect him on that part, fighting for, it being real versus relying on just special effects. There's a time and place for that. I already talked about CGI in another video, and I agree with Tom Cruise on that one. Keep it real. There's some things that could be done for real, so let's see if it was actually done for real. So, what's your favorite sequel? Now this, as I said, this is not my list. It would take me a while to come up with my list of favorite sequels. A few of those probably would be on my list, but like Terminator 2 and Aliens. Other than that, I'm not really sure about the other ones, but these are just what I got off alot.com, ALOT.com. I think it's living.alot.com if you want to get specific, or you could just search 30 best. Anyway, that's what I did. I had to kind of like, where did I get that from? So anyway, that's the sequels, the best sequels of all time. Do you agree, disagree? Number one being a Western. I thought Godfather 2 would be part in the top, not number 30, but whatever. I didn't make the list, so. So, until next week, have a good one, and I will be back. Enjoy your week. Bye, guys.